Shocking facts of history. Thomas Edison didn't invent most of the stuff he patented. Edison was one of the world's most notorious intellectual property thieves. Of the 1,093 things he put a patent on, he stole most of them from geniuses like Nikola Tesla, Wilhelm Röntgen, and Joseph Swan, who originally invented the light bulb. Genghis Khan was tolerant of all religions. One was his interest in learning philosophical and moral lessons from other religions. Despite being a tengrist, he often consulted with Buddhist monks, Muslims, Christian missionaries, and Taoist monks. The South African Railway once employed a baboon. In his 8 years of service, he never made a single mistake. 1 in 200 men are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. The Mongolian emperor was known for siring at least 11 children. Scientists conducted a study in 2003 that showed that 1 in 200 men share a Y chromosome with the conqueror. The World War II Army of the US is the biggest army in history. Due in part to the surge of American patriotism and because of conscription, the US Army numbered 12 million soldiers by the end of the war in 1945. Back in the 16th century, the wealthy elite used to eat dead bodies. It was rumored that cadavers could cure diseases. The highest delicacy was Egyptian mummies. The ancient Romans often used stale urine as mouthwash. The main ingredient in urine is ammonia, which acts as a powerful cleaning agent. Urine became so in demand that Romans who traded in it actually had to pay a tax. King Henry VIII of England had servants who were called grooms of stool, whose job was to wipe his bottom after he went to the bathroom. During his reign, he had all of those 4 such people knighted. In the Victorian era, men with mustaches used special cups. Pragmatically called mustache cups, these specially made mugs had guards on them which prevented a man's mustache from dipping into their warm cup of tea. In ancient Greece, wearing skirts was manly. In fact, Greeks viewed trousers as effeminate and would mock any men who wore them. Before alarm clocks and way before smartphone alarms, there were people called knocker-uppers who would literally knock on people's windows to wake them up in time for work. Until the 1970s, knocker-uppers used a long stick, soft hammers, rattles, or even pea shooters to reach their clients' windows. In ancient Greece, they believed redheads became vampires after death. This was partly because red-headed people are very pale-skinned and sensitive to sunlight, unlike the Mediterranean Greeks, who had olive skin and dark features. Russia ran out of vodka, celebrating the end of World War II. When the Long War ended, street parties engulfed the Soviet Union, lasting for days, until all of the nation's vodka reserves ran out a mere 22 hours after the partying started. The shortest war in history lasted 38 minutes. It was between Britain and Zanzibar and is known as the Anglo-Zanzibar War. This war occurred on August 27, 1896. It was over the accession of the next Sultan in Zanzibar and resulted in a British victory. In 1386, a pig was executed in France. In the Middle Ages, the pig attacked a child who went to die later from their wounds. The pig was arrested, kept in prison, and then sent to court where it stood trial for murder, was found guilty, and then executed by hanging. Ketchup was sold in the 1830s as medicine. In 1834, it was sold as a cure for an upset stomach by an Ohio physician named John Cook. It wasn't popularized as a condiment until the late 19th century. Alexander the Great was accidentally buried alive. Scientists believe Alexander suffered from a neurological disorder called Guillain-Barré syndrome. They believe that when he died, he was actually just paralyzed and mentally aware. During World War II, a Great Dane named Juliana was awarded the Blue Cross Medal. She extinguished an incendiary bomb by peeing on it. The graveyard keeper had a tough job. It used to be super common to be, accidentally, buried alive before medical practices advanced. They would make coffins with air vents and a bell to ring if you wake up for someone up top to see. Huge ossuaries were set up throughout medieval and early modern Europe, where churches were elaborately decorated with thousands of human skeletons. In an effort to save graveyard space, ossuaries were created to store skeletons. After a few years had passed and bodies were assumed to be sufficiently decomposed, they were exhumed to make space for the more recently deceased. Some books created in the 18th and 19th centuries were bound in real human skin. Called anthropodermic bibliopegy, the books were made much in the same way as regular leather-bound ones are, though using human rather than animal skin. There are less than 10 tested and confirmed books of this kind that still exist, and their contents are mostly based on anatomy or erotica. Did you know? A novel about a seemingly unsinkable ship that was hit by an iceberg was published in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic sunk.